I don't think I could be more tired right now. I really don't. Because with everything that goes into planning a wedding, it's this game of, it's almost like Fear Factor. Okay, there's a throwback reference for you. It's almost like Fear Factor, where you have to stop and go, am I willing to do that? Am I willing to do that? Is it worth what I'm going to get? Because they would give you these ridiculous challenges for a certain kind of payout, and, you know, like eating particularly vicious looking bugs or something. And I'm having one of those time frames. I really am. Because first it was Sam's problems with stress and his inability to handle stress. Then it was me handling my own stress the way I have always done it, which is to outwardly express it. And in this case, I subconsciously decided it was a good idea to slam my foot into a wall as hard as possible. Oh, almost as hard as possible. I didn't actually break anything. And spend the better part of the day in the emergency room. Since then, that was last Monday, my toes have healed some, but I still have a very deep tissue bruise, which, if you know what you're looking for, it looks like a very bad deep tissue bruise, okay? What else? My diet has gotten horrific for a couple different reasons, one of which involves severe femininity, to put it delicately. So I'm like chomping through a bag of peanut candies and drinking probably more than I should, which isn't to say a lot. I mean, my tolerance is pretty high, but I'm definitely drinking more than I have been the last, like, year on average. I'm just this side right now of going out and getting cigarettes because I'm incredibly overtaxed. And then I had a conversation with my dad. Now, in the interim since I mentioned Ruth had broken herself, or had been broken when her current husband fell on her when he tripped, I have been getting calls, not as much as in the past, messy computer, but often enough that it's taxing. And I can't really bucket her too bad because she's an old octogenarian who's broken and she can't really go anywhere. I mean, she can, it's not her leg or anything, it's her left arm and she's right-handed. But it's her. She's like in her mid-80s. She's not gonna, if she can't make herself look all tatted up, then she's not gonna go outside. So she's at home doing nothing else but harassing me. So I can't get too upset with her, but my dad, oh my, Within the last week, I heard from one of my sisters, the one who said she's coming, because she lives in Maine, so she's going to come with our dad. She called me out of nowhere. Something had happened between her and our dad, which is too long a story to get into, but it involves him providing something for her and her not understanding that it was supposed to be 50% gift and 50% her responsibility to pay for, or their responsibility, technically, her and the husband. She just heard the word gift and assumed she was being taken care of again. So she wigged. I mean, this was a week ago. This was the day I got home from the hospital myself when I had to go. And she woke me up from a nap, and she was going on and on about if it's a gift, then, you know, don't expect someone to pay for it, and I don't know if I want to deal with this, I'm done with him, I don't want to put up with it, I don't even know if I'm willing to come because it means traveling with him. I was like, you know what, you just woke me up from a nap, and I'm on some pretty serious pain medication. I don't care. Do what you want. Of course, afterwards I called my dad to figure out what the hell was going on, and he explained the situation to me, and he was surprised that she'd called and said that, because extreme and ridiculous in its own way. So it's been a roller coaster, and I called him earlier today, and today's been fun too. Our poor kitten is going through her first heat, so I've been trying to find ways to make her feel better, and I must have done something right, because she's actually spent the better part of today relatively quiet. She's just been, like, napping around, so I must have done something helpful. I have no idea what. Maybe it's that I played with her until she was panting and just decided sleep was the better option. But yeah, today, and I talked to him, and the man, it's 10 days until the wedding, okay? Today is the 12th, the wedding is on the 23rd, so technically my countdown clock says just a bit more than 10 days. And there's other things to get done, and I'm trying to cover all my bases, so I call my dad and I say, look, call her. Find out for sure if she's coming or not. Well, I've been talking to her. We've had some civil conversation. She's coming. I'm positive she's coming. Okay. Can you call and ask and verify that? Because the number of times people in this family have made assumptions and things have gotten resoundingly fucked up because of it. No, I've talked to her. It's fine. I'm sure she's my dad doesn't actually sound like that. You know, I've talked to her. It's fine. I'm sure she's coming. We've had some civil conversations. You know, people get certain ways and then they get out of them, which I'm assuming his backhanded way of referencing that she's going through postpartum because she had a baby 2 months ago. I don't know. And I'm like, great. I'm glad you've had civil conversations with her. But exactly how much have I asked you to do to help with this wedding? I asked you to verify with a couple of relatives whether or not they were coming because I hadn't heard from them. And now, mind you, when I say a couple, I invited 2 uncles, 1 aunt, my parents, both sisters, and all 3 brothers. Of them, 2 brothers hadn't responded. 1 had on Facebook because I found him. Well, actually, I found his significant other, and she answered. My sister from out of state, south of me, said she couldn't come. The little one has school. 1 uncle said he can't. He's working, and he's a truck driver, so that's reasonable. The other one lives in New York. He said he is coming. This is my amazing Uncle Don, who sent all those gifts. My parents said they're coming, and I asked my dad's father. Him and his wife are coming. The only other person was my sister in Maine, who said she's coming. But then she called and went through this whole thing with me, and I said, look, all I've asked you to do is verify with our relatives who's coming. That's it. What else have I asked you to do? I paid for Faye's room. I offered to pay for yours. You didn't want me to. I asked you the day of the ceremony to help set up chairs, because the company doesn't do that. That's it. There's nothing else I've asked you to do for this wedding, and out of the incalculable list of things that have to get done for a wedding, especially a wedding that involves people other than the bride, groom, witness, and officiant, he's getting off fucking easy. So I get him on the phone and I'm asking him this, and he's hemming and he's hawing, and he's hemming and he's hawing, and he finally goes, well, fine. And then he calls me by my full name, which pisses me off to begin with. Well, fine. Then I'll be redundant and I'll call her again. I'm like, you know what? What kind of asshole do you have to be with everything you know I've had to go through? Let's just shorten it up to the last 2 weeks, okay? Just the last 2 weeks have involved 2 hospital visits, and then it snowballs from there. And you're picking a fight with me over me asking you to call and make sure my sister's coming? That kind of behavior, you know, apparently he's forgetting who he's talking to, because that kind of behavior is a really quick way to get yourself uninvited, okay? Now, yes, technically he's the father of the groom. Yes, it would be strange to uninvite your own parents to your own wedding. But here's the thing. I'm not uninviting my mom, if I go through with this, my stepmom, I'm not uninviting my siblings or my uncle or anyone else. I'm uninviting him if he doesn't straighten the fuck up and fly right. That's the end of it. Because I have been dealing with this kind of bullshit from him my entire existence. I'm not going to deal with it now. I'm not going to deal with it regarding my own wedding, an event that everyone in my family was convinced would never happen. I'm not the type to get married. I'm not the type to find someone to settle down with. I'm not the type who can find someone who can put up with me long enough to consider a long-term relationship, let alone getting married, possibly starting a family, having a home together. And he's trying to fuck it up. No. No. See, I've cut other people out of my life out of necessity. And I'll tell you what, this would be necessary. It would be. And no, I have no shame about it. No, I'm not embarrassed by it. No, I don't regret what I'm saying and that I'm posting it on the internet. Because the fact of the matter is, people who behave that atrociously over a prolonged period of time towards their own relatives, blood or otherwise, do not afford the latitude for continuing the behavior. They don't. In one argument, I understand giving them a little bit more rope to hang themselves, but not over several decades. I'm almost 30. That alone makes me want to finish off a six-pack, okay? I don't need him doing this now. So I'm not giving him the quarter to do it. But lest I spend the entire posting ranting about things I feel the need to rant about, I need to address one thing. If you look at the channels that I'm subscribed to, one of them is my little sister, and she's documenting some insights and thoughts and experiences during her time in Italy. And I want to acknowledge that and tell anyone else who watches this that they should watch it. Because she is a very engaging person, and she's going out on a huge limb to follow her path, to do what she wants to do by going there and doing fashion, which she's amazing at. I mean, I know she's going to go very far in that particular field, so get on the boat now. I'm telling you, get on the bandwagon now, okay? Do yourself a favor and start following her channel. It's going to be interesting. She posted the first one earlier today, so I already watched it, of course. I think you'll like it. But on that note, I'm going to go do something. I don't know what. I may go for a walk and get some cigarettes. I don't know yet. I may just walk down to Starbucks and get myself a venti something horrific with a lot of chocolate. I'll talk to y'all later. Hope your lives are going better, smoother than mine.